Hi, welcome. Thank you for tuning today. Today we're going to discuss a very interesting subject about the languages and alphabets and how it can relate to us, and if you really apply a logic and couple of words what we are using at present, be it in a good words or bad words, and what was the origin of it and when did it actually started. So without further ado, I'd like to start. So there are 7,100 languages are widely spoken across the globe, with 7 plus billion people around the world, 4,000 being the lowest, and 1 plus billion is being the Chinese. So, and also there are alphabets, which is about starting from the 12 alphabets to the 74 alphabets, is about something that we currently use across the globe with the different languages. So, and again, it's billions of emotions. Let's get into it a little bit of a more and a broader understanding. Now, there are 7,011 languages as we speak. The Cambodian language has about 74 alphabets. And so Rotakas is about 4,000 people who speaks that particular language, which is in Guyana. And the alphabet is about 12 numbers. And there is, and before I go to the next slides, I really want you to understand, out of the alphabets which you're going to see on a screen, and what are the most things that you can recognize. Now let's for an example, and that's the number of the top 8 languages. You can name it, English, one being the Mandarin, English, Hindustani, there's an Indian, Spanish, Arabic, Mali, Russian, and Bengali. Now, among this entire the screen what you have, what is the most recognized language that you could pick from the alphabets? And pretty much everybody knows, the English alphabets. And how many of you know the other languages, and what does it reflect on the list with the chart which I had put? You see, first of all, our mind will not detect things which we don't know yet. And now you can think this is as a Chinese, or you can think this is a Mali, or or this could be probably Japanese or Chinese. We don't know. But only when we know something, then only our mind attracts to it. And I guarantee you, many of you, all of us know the alphabets in English, and then what I can recognize is this Hindi alphabets. But this is Chinese, and one being Arabic, and one being um, Malay. So again, I'll come back to the points why I'm referring to it. So this, how our brain works, is completely different. So it only attracts things what we know as we speak. And then the better you understand grows, and then better you're going to grasp. Now, imagine you're in a new country where you don't speak a language, and the guy comes and tells you bad words without any expressions. How would you react? You don't understand what the person is saying, but would you react the same way that the language you know, and someone is telling you those words, and your emotions gets in very quickly emotionally, and you get very aggressive? So that is by understanding both the parties. But whereas, if you don't understand that particular language, it's completely a different scenario. Imagine simple thing is the same thing going and talking to a deaf person. You can blow, like, when you're angry, you can scream with the fumes, but then it is really not going to affect the deaf person. At the same time, if a deaf person is communicating with his anger, with his emotion, and the language what he knows, you're not going to understand anything, because you both are not in line with the similar language. Same thing with the blind. So the expressions can only mean if both the parties aggressively understand each other, what other person is saying, and then how we interpret things. Now, do you know the word happy is derived pretty much in 14th century, and actually initiated around 1756 is actually the word happy. did start existing. So before that, there was no word happy. The happy word, the first time derived in 14th and 17th, and it took evolutions to get that particular word and its meanings and what it means to be saying happy. Now, do you know the word upset? It upsets me. Upset is the name of the horse, by the way. And it's very interesting that I also got to know right now and then recent some when I was doing some work. So basically, the term upset was described as underdog winning sports event was derived from a horse named Upset defeating the heavily favored Man o' War in 1919. So actually, the upset word itself had a lot of meanings starting from that point onwards. So that's where that more of the word. But when we say upset, basically you're talking about a horse name. But then eventually it got into our dictionaries in our system as we speak. The word shit is the oldest words in use, early references found in Germany, and then it started pretty much on 13th century. Now, before that, shit means nothing basically. And actually, the word, what we foul language, what you use, is started pretty much on 13th century. And there are some words which I had mentioned early on. Now, if you leave these words apart, now everyone understand what is a cheating means or cheater means. Everyone understand what idiot means. So because you know, I know, and then what it means. I also know what it means by dumbass, and I also know that what is a time waster. In other words, it could be as lazy and things like that. But what if you or someone tells you you are a bed swearer? I don't understand nothing. But that actually means these are the old, forgotten bad words. Means a cheater. Zunderkeit. If someone tells you you're a Zunderkeit, what does it mean? It's basically an idiot. So idiot word is well known as we speak, that you understand, I understand. But 10th century and 12th century, and those are the words they used to use for an idiot. It's Zunderkeit. Fubdoodle is an ass, basically a dumbass. If Fubdoodle is a dumbass. And Fustelarian is a time waster, nothing but a lazy, and then you can do some weird words which we don't understand. You go and tell one of your friend, Fubdoodle is a dumbass. Use that word and see, is he really going to react same way, like you say you are a dumbass? The same thing. If you say, try using your Zunderkeit, and the person will not know that you're telling him an idiot. But at the same time, if you tell him an idiot, he's going to overreact and then he's going to pick a fight with you. So all these positive or negative words was created at certain point of time. Maybe these words being a good or bad words didn't have any meaning like 600, 700 years ago. And each and every word has a certain point of time, and you can refer yourself in Google itself, origin of particular word, and then you get to know. And that's how I got to know what is it. The name upset comes to me. I didn't know till today it was a horse name. So basically, what we need to try to understand is there are so many languages, so many expressions, and then sometimes you just need to understand that maybe the other person which is telling you some words, probably he didn't mean, but then he using the word. Same like my kids use the daddy, you stupid. They don't mean that. So in our life, what we have to do is try to learn as many as possible. Try to learn all the emotions. Try to see, if 7.5 billions, about 60% are widely spoken about top 10 languages. Now you can even manage to try to learn about 5 top languages. I'm sure that you will be able to communicate yourself to the half of the world. Not only the English, but then many other languages I was referring to. So, and also understanding different dialects and emotions makes a lot of sense, and then that gives you a lot of understanding and perspective on whatever you do. With that note, I would like to leave you today, and stay blessed, stay tuned, and looking forward to see you on the next video. And I hope this was a little bit informative for you to put in place. Words has no meanings. Whatever the words what we use today has had no meaning like 600 years ago, 700 years ago, and this is all built up. And then the words what you learn from the schooling words, and this is what you understand, and this is how you interpret things. So you can take these things as a positively or negatively. So is a bunch of negative words is none other than picked up from a 26 alphabets. Bunch of happy words are also picked up from none other than those 26 words. So how you put your words across, and then which way you can express yourself, makes all the difference in your communications you do day in and day out. So stay well, stay blessed, stay tuned, and be good, do good, and influence the people around you. Choose your words wisely, and thank you.